Hey, look what we have found. A big sound in a small town, far away from the bright lights. They're making music every night. Discover what is all around. A big sound, a big sound in a small town. Big sound, small town. A really big sound. Big sound, small town.
You're listening to Big Sound, Small Town with Sandy Carlton.
Hi, welcome to Season 4 of Big Sound, Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton. Join me as musicians tell their stories about how they became musicians and the stories along the way.
Oh, hello there, would it be okay if I asked you your name? Or should I be ashamed if I asked you your name? 'Cause I heard it's ugly to be forward, but you to be lame. That's the rules of the game. But I don't wanna be lame. Thinking about you, thinking about you. Well, am I allowed to? Maybe this is news to you, but I've been told not to. I'm done hesitating, sick of waiting for you to make a move, make a move, make a move. Would it be a little bit needy to message you first? Would you think I'm the worst if I messaged you first? Thinking about you, thinking about you. Where am I allowed to? Maybe this is news to you, but I've been told not to make a move. I'm done hesitating, sick of waiting for you to make a move. Make a move, make a move, and I'm waiting for you to make a move, make a move, and I'm waiting for you to. My name is Cornelius Logan. I play a little bit of everything and none of it great. I'm just kidding. And I'm here upstairs in Earl Scruggs Center, and it is a nice and clear day. Those of you who know me as Corny, and that is the nickname that I've had since I was about 5. And I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you here. You know, I've been after you, but you're busy all the time, and I'm busy kind of all the time too. But I don't know how many different ensembles and outfits I've seen you with around town, and seen you pictures of you with even other people. So I mean, he wasn't exaggerating when he says he can play a lot of things. What he didn't say is he plays with a lot of people and a lot of different styles.
Yeah, it's, to be honest, it's been it's about 10 years now since I started like gigging, quote unquote, and I still look back and go, I can't believe people let me play drums for them. Like, they're gonna find out I'm not very good and kick me out, so I'm just gonna keep playing until they do.
And like drums is just one of the little sidelines you do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even your main gig.
No, so right now, I went to school at App State for music education, and where I played trombone. I'm a Cleveland County product. Went to Burns High School, had a band with Richard Plyler. For those of you who are going to hear that name and laugh, you're absolutely right. He was a fun band director. And I love what he did so much, and I wanted to teach, and I really wanted to do it, so I went to school for that and graduated and taught at North Mech in Huntersville for a couple years. And essentially what made me not a trombone player regularly is basically Charlotte has a lot of money. You kind of get what you want to until the money runs out.
Right.
And essentially I was kind of talking about a item that I'd asked for my band room, and I was talking to my little contact for the school system, and he slipped up and said, well, you're not getting it because the school might close. And I said, I'm sorry, what? And after that, I knew with a small child who's now not so small. He's 14 and about 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that's not too small.
And so at the time, I thought, I can't take that chance. I got to find something a little bit more stable. And so I left there, subbed for a while in Cleveland County, Gaston County, and then got a part-time job at CCC. So all that to say is that when I did that, a buddy of mine, who's the bass player for my jazz group, the Black Coffee Quartet, lead singer and bass player, he said, hey, do you want to start a band? And I said, sure, man, why not? You know, it was kind of thing. So we had like a bunch of people at the time. We had about 7 guys, and, you know, we played like 2 gigs total before we had to like split it up. It's just a large party. You know, you can't fit 7 people in most places, especially on Shelby.
You can't. And afford to pay anybody make any money.
Oh, right, yeah. You know,
exactly.
We can go and you just feed us for free, and which I'm probably pretty happy to just take food for payment. But we split up into smaller groups, and then I was asked, hey, do you want to play drums? And I replied, I don't play drums. And they said, you'll figure it out. And here I am 9 years later, still figuring it out, but I do it a little bit more often than I ever thought I would. But yeah, I play drums 10 to 1 anything else, and it blows my mind. Like I would have never considered. Like the first thing I played was just a snare and a ride cymbal because I didn't have the dexterity.
Have a whole kit, yeah. So, you didn't have the dexterity.
I didn't have dexterity. I just didn't know how to. I mean,
Right.
you know, I was figuring out. I had in my classes at App, we did take you know, like percussion class, and so I learned some basics. But I did get to kind of get an idea of how to play jazz. Right. So naturally, when I started doing, you know, when I started with the trio at the time, my jazz feel actually felt like I knew what I was doing.
Well, yeah, because I mean that would come with the trombone. I mean that would be a big part of that too. Would it not?
Yeah, and I played in jazz bands and all that stuff. So that feel was just there.
So the feel was there, which made it easier to, and actually probably for a drummer, it probably did make it easier to go to jazz than a drummer who's been doing something else coming to jazz.
I would agree with that.
I mean, I could see that. I never give that thought till just now, but I could see the jazz background already being able to shift it just to a different instrument and still have the same feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you play that more than anything else these days?
Right now, I mean, either 10 to 1. I mean,
trombone. Yeah, come on, man. I mean,
there's so in South Carolina, I've kind of got into playing down there.
Yeah.
Again, because one thing led to another, which led to another, and all of a sudden people thought, "Oh, this guy's good. Let me hire." I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not, in my opinion, a great player. I'm just easy to work with.
Right.
And
Well,
I
that's
go
99% of it. You realize that, right?
I've been told that.
You know, I mean, it's landed me most of the jobs I've ever had because you can find better players.
Yeah.
I'm pretty easy to work with.
Yeah. I mean, I'll come in, I'll have fun, I'll make you laugh, for good reasons and bad reasons, but I'll make you laugh. And
if you play with me though, you'd have to play. Even if you was the drummer, we'd have some trombone stuff going on.
Oh yeah, I'd like that.
I could step over and fill in on the drums while you played.
Well, don't say that too loud, because if Pedro finds out that could happen, he's been trying to get me to play he's been trying to get me to play trombone at one of our Dead on Tuesday nights at Izzy's.
Well, you know, Pedro's a buddy of mine. I like Pedro. I'll talk to him. I think you need to be doing that. So, you know,
we're gonna figure it out next year.
You could put Joe on the drums.
We've actually talked about that, and I think we will.
At least long enough for you to, you know. Besides, man, I'm going to try to set up a second line here. You know, I'm an old dude. I'm probably going to pass before too long. I need some horn players for the second line.
Oh, I could. I've done a little bit of that before. Not anywhere, but you know, some South Carolina gig where they wanted a little second line, and but yeah, down in South Carolina, I'm a trombone player down there, which is funny, and I'm a drummer up here. Yeah. Well, so that's all right. It's fun.
Sure. Yeah, I mean it is. So when did you first get interested in music? I mean, something came sometime before. I mean, you just didn't go to band, decide I'm taking band class?
So that's actually kind of how it happened.
Really?
Music was just a thing, like, you know, just I didn't like listening to music all the time. I wasn't into playing piano, right, any of that stuff. But band, just my sister, Monica, she's in Houston, and she played clarinet. And my sister Katrina, she was a vocalist, so like music was, you went to school, you did a music thing,
right? Okay, you got you.
So I was like, all right, I guess I have to do that. So it was, you know, what do you want to do? And you know, do a little sign up, and I was like, all right, well, I say she has a clarinet, so I can just sign up for clarinet. That way, Mama didn't have to buy anything. Yeah. And then it was like that or saxophone or drums. That's the three I think I signed up for. I think you get three. And I think you do like a little hearing test, and apparently I did well with it. And Richard Plowler put me on trombone, and I was so mad. I almost quit. I literally almost quit. I was like, I don't want to play trombone. It's a stupid instrument. I don't want to play it. Yeah. And I was very upset. And for a while, I mean, I was kind of an awful trombone player. I mean, granted, new player, but like I was, out of all the new players, I was the worst of the new players. So, and I remember just like not being able to understand reading music and playing and getting notes out. And I remember practicing at home one day, and it was like a bulb just went off in my brain. And it was like, by the way, this is how you play notes and this is how you read music. And then all of a sudden I went from last chair to first chair, and I pretty much never left first chair going through high school. Got to college, and I got put back in my place because there are a lot of great
always. I mean, that's. I have grandsons that play college sports, and guess what? They were stars. Guess what? They get put in place when they get there. I mean, that's the way it is.
But that's good though, because it showed me what I needed to work on, and those things I did work on. Eventually, I would say I was pretty competent by the time I left, and otherwise, I guess they wouldn't have given me my piece of paper.
Exactly,
the piece of paper which I. Don't really use anymore, but I think that's a lot of us who go out and get those things. We end up finding something else that we do. And
I have one.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, you said you were went to Tulane, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and Appalachians too.
Oh,
so, there's a lot of good musicians come out of that school, though. You realize that? I mean,
went to my wife took me, and we went and saw Luke Combs.
Yeah.
Yes, Luke Combs. I always say Luke Combs, Luke Bryan. I always confuse the two.
Yeah, it is kind of confusing with those two. I saw him, and he's another Appalachian graduate. I saw him shoot a video at RS Central High School while I was reffing a soccer match, which is the strangest thing in the world. because there was a lot. I knew something was up because there's a lot of people at a soccer match. And there's never anybody.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's the parents, maybe the parents. Sometimes not even the parents. I mean, sometimes there's nobody there. But it was loaded with people. And then what's going on? Luke Bryan was shooting a video at RS Central High School.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, it was funny. So yeah, there's Eric Church.
Yeah,
Scott Moss here in town.
Oh yeah, I actually saw Scott Moss last night when I was playing at Dragonfly.
Yeah,
did a little guitar set for the first time in my life and made it through. And
that's
but I
good.
saw Scott last night. So
Scott's a good guy. I like Scott.
oh yeah.
So.
I was like, speaking of local musicians, this is a thing I always like to joke about. Nikeo Wallace and I are not the same person. I'm going to say that here and now for everyone to hear. There are two people. I am Cornelius, and he's Nikeo. Nikeo is fantastic, and I appreciate being compared to him, but we are, in fact,
I mean, that is a
different
compliment.
people. It is a
compliment.
very good compliment, and I appreciate it. But it is funny, the frequency
Yeah.
in which, hey, and I'm like, not Nikeo.
Well, I know you both, and I wouldn't mistake you, and I know both of you.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
however, being a drummer, I mean, let's just go black working drummers in this town.
I think it's two.
There's two.
And we're both tall. We both
Y'all big
play,
guys. Yeah.
And we play. We also sing.
Yeah, we both
so,
sing. Yep, that's true. So
I do. I mean, I do get it on paper. It is funny though, but it's.
and what was the exact quote you used on that? Because
gosh,
that's one of my favorite drummers anyway.
I have to pull that up.
It's for the love of what?
I think it was for the love of Clyde Stubblefield.
That's what it is. Yeah, I'm not Nikeo Wallace. Which for people, if you don't know, that is a James Brown's drummer.
They call him the funky drummer.
And truthfully, his drum has probably been sampled more than any drum in the history of music, and for good reason.
Oh yeah,
The tone of it is fabulous, and he's a great player. Of course, James had several great drummers.
Oh yeah. Work somebody that much, you got to have at least a couple backups.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And as hard as he is, as hard a taskmaster as he was,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, wait, man, I didn't really make a mistake. Oh yeah, you did.
I've heard stories where he would if you made a mistake, he would turn to you, like, because he'd do his little spin and like turn to go 25. How much he would dock you if you made a mistake.
I always heard that too. And, I've seen him. For a long time, I saw that was probably the person I'd seen live more than any act. It may still be. I mean, I had seen him so many times that I used to keep count, but I did some shows that I was on the same show with him. Oh, wow. And it was pretty cool. But of course, I didn't get to see him. I mean, he was James Brown. I mean, no, man. So, but then again, he had great drummers. He had a great band.
Yeah,
I was a James fan.
Yeah, I got to listen to it when I was young, so James Brown was always something that I like to listen to, and I guess like that something about funk just. I can just listen.
No, it's the groove and the beat, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could sing anything over it, basically. I look at James.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, James basically sang anything over it. It really had more to do. Well, he's a great entertainer, but he had fine band members. They were just great. I
think I was watching a documentary on Netflix about him, and it was great. I mean, just all the things he went through, and then I think what gave me a greater appreciation was apparently when he said he was the hardest working man. Yeah, he absolutely was.
I agree.
So,
I agree. And he filled his life with trauma to make it even more fun. Those guys. I'm sure they have a ton of fun stories to tell. The ones that are still alive, I'm sure there's tons of stories. I've seen the documentaries and stuff too, so it's like, but I opened shows for him a few times, but I never met the man in my life.
I bet that would have been.
Oh,
yeah, I wonder what that would have been like. Would he have been nice? Would he have been? Because there's stories of people meeting there.
Sure. Oh, I've met a lot of people that I thought I really wanted to meet, and it was kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
But then it's really nice when you meet them, and they're pretty nice people too. So you just never know.
Yeah. Well, kind of speaking of that, this is me throwing something in. I live a very charmed life. I get to play with people from time to time that I have no business being on stage with. And a couple months ago, 2020 has erased my sense of time. But,
everybody's, I think.
A couple months ago, Gardner-Webb University had a brass fest and invited trombonist Wycliffe Gordon.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I got to watch his recital with different groups, and at the end of the night, I got to go have dinner with him and some other people and listen to him share stories and talk absolute smack about Arturo Sandoval. It was hilarious. Yeah, I mean, like jokingly, of course.
Yeah, of course.
It was just,
of course.
He was like, "Oh yeah, Arturo is just full of fire," that kind of thing. And it was just, but it was so interesting. I'm like, this man's played all over the world.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here having a beer. Like, this is amazing.
Was he a nice guy?
Oh, absolutely. Just It was one of those things where, and he's so laid back. Like, once the show was over and he could just sit back and we're all talking and, he just goes, and it was just hilarious to hear stories and, his interaction. But yeah, he was absolutely one of the nicest.
And I'm sure he's pretty charming with his stories.
Yeah.
Plus, he's such a fine player.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
look at it, and he was giving a master class, and I brought my trombone. Y'all bring your horn in, so I go up and we play a little bit, and I don't play nearly as much as I used to, so a little rusty. And he kind of called it out, and he goes, "So how often do you practice?" I said, "I'm not gonna lie to you on stage. I don't really do it much anymore." And he goes, "Yeah, it sounds like And I was like, "Oh man, I earned that." But I do. After that, I actually did start trying to practice a little bit more. I mean, not very often because playing drums a couple nights a week, which is, again, every time I say that, I go, "Why am I playing drums a couple nights a week? This doesn't make any sense."
Well, let's start looking at all the horn jobs in this town.
I know.
It's like
I think I've had 3 horn jobs this year.
Yeah.
I think 3 this year, and I think as of last week, that was probably my 110th drum gig for the year or something like that.
Yeah, and you probably didn't even do that gig in Cleveland County, did you?
No.
Exactly. It's
actually, you know what? No, none of my horn gigs have been in Cleveland County.
Sure. So I mean, my dream is to have a band and have the horn section. That's I've always wanted to play in a band that I could afford to have a horn section.
Yeah, And you've got some incredible horn players out of this county.
Oh, there
so
are.
You're right. I mean, it would be. He isn't in our quartet, but Kevin Clary's, a shout out to him. We just got married this weekend, and he and his wife are enjoying their honeymoon right now. But he is a fantastic trumpet player, and I'm so glad that my quartet, has managed to keep this player.
Right.
And it just, first of all, incredibly nice human being, but like also as a player, wow.
Yeah. I have a passion for horns, but there again, we live in Cleveland County, and they're in marching bands, right? No, that's the gig.
That's yeah.
But yeah, and North Carolina is actually famous for horn players too.
Yeah, John Coltrane.
Yeah. Yeah, probably the most famous. Maybe even the most famous.
I was say, I don't know. I think it might be.
Yeah, I do know that. No, it's not. I'll skip that because I think I'm getting ready to say something I can't confirm that it's true.
You know, I said John Coltrane, and I feel like I'm right, and it just my gut is like, wait a minute, you need to fact check that, make sure. I'm almost certain John Coltrane. I don't want to be wrong, and I don't want.
I always say people are from Gastonia when I don't know where they're from. I claim everybody's from Gastonia. When somebody asks me, you know, where's Scott Moss from? Gastonia.
Hamlet, North Carolina. All right.
Yeah. Have you seen the mural on the side of the wall that the guy who painted Bobby Bell and Earl Scruggs?
Yeah, I haven't.
He has one there too.
Oh, okay.
So it is really one of the coolest ones if you look it up. It's you know, actually all those murals that the guy does. Scott Nurkin is his name. ScottNurkin.com. He has actually painted murals of some of the finest musicians that ever come out of North Carolina.
That's fantastic.
And it's every genre too. It's everything from jazz to bluegrass to the NFL, but I don't guess that counts. But you know, I mean, but you know, he's covered everyone from Earl Scruggs to Randy Travis to Elizabeth Cotton. You know, John Coltrane. You know, so it's pretty cool. It is. What else we need to know?
Well, let's see.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Let's see. One of the things. So last night, I played a guitar show, and I'm not a guitar player, but you know, I play a lot of random things. And so in the last year, I got to play in this Cake cover band, Cake the band.
Mm-hmm. Which is strange too. There you go. That's strange too.
But so when I got asked to play in it, I thought, well, it's a South Carolina gig, so obviously I'm going to be a horn player. It's like, man, I don't play trumpet, and well, I can, you know, I know the parts, and I grew up listening to Cake.
Yeah.
When I was, so strange bands that I listened to, but
it's a strange band to listen to.
But I was like, oh, I know the music, so I got a trumpet and went up there. And went to rehearsal for the first night. I'm like, oh man, it's going to be bad, but like I have time to practice. It's just the first rehearsal. We walk in, and guy walks in behind me. He's got a case. I'm not really paying attention to the size of the case. And we sit there, and I pull up my trumpet, and I brought my trombone because obviously I need to make sure I have something solid that I can play. And he opens his case, and the trumpet comes out, and I go, wait, you're playing trumpet? Wait, what am I supposed to do? And it was like, oh, you were just going to play horn with him. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. That, you know, I can do a couple trumpet things.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, the lead singer is a fantastic guitar player, Vince Morris, we call Bobby, and he's just singing. He's not playing I said, well, anybody want to play the acoustic part? And I said, well, we'll figure that out. And I was like, I mean, I kind of play acoustic, and I know the music, so I can like do it. So we get an acoustic, and I start playing and singing the harmony parts, and he looks at me and goes, when did you learn to do that? And I was like, I don't know. It was like, I don't know, about 10 years ago. It just happens to be there. We laughed about it, and he said, man, you're just random with your instruments. And I said, I kind of play them as I need to, which I would say, if you were to ask me, you know, what am I as a musician? I would say I'm like a utility tool. Like I'm not might not be the best thing you have to use, but if you need it, I'm there, and I can probably get it done. You then might want to go find the right tool for it later, but I can get you through that gig.
I can feel it till you find that right tool. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I did my little acoustic gig last night, and so.
So tell me about that gig last night. Who were you with?
I was with Kenny Cox, and I know Kenny's going to listen, but Kenny, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. You made last night amazing with your playing, and it was a kind of a New Year's resolution. I said, I'm going to play one acoustic guitar show. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do one. I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off because I wasn't ready. And then I called Jamie at Dragonfly, and I gave myself a date, which now it's solid. So
you got to do it.
Now I've got to do it.
I put it in.
So I put it on a Wednesday, which I knew a lot of my church-going friends would be busy.
wouldn't be there.
So I eliminated some of the terror of playing in front of people, but I had some friends and family there last night, and it was it went pretty well. I got through it, and so.
Can you play acoustic or electric?
Acoustic, and it's. okay. Like I mean, I'm serviceable. I can play,
Right.
and I did a little bit of practicing for last night's thing, so it was a little better than normal. But I did bring a guitar to play today because
Sure.
lugging drum set around. Just
yeah. And truthfully, although it would have been cool to let you play trombone, that really would have been.
I thought about that, and I thought, I don't know because now as a trombone player, I read because that's
Right.
my education.
Sure.
I solo a little bit, but not enough to where I would say I'm going to go out and just solo. So I guess it kind of has to be situational.
No trombone shorty.
No trombone shorty at all. And he's one of those people I would love to meet, but I feel like I would be highly disappointed if I did. And I think something about it seems like attitude would be a thing.
Yeah, I could.
But I think that's just like the persona he has because I've heard other people talk about how awesome he is.
Right.
So.
Oh, and it's also anyone that is that just awesome on their instrument is always it's the intimidating thing that you don't really want them to be anything but what they are.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like meeting somebody and you're like, I don't really know if I want to meet them because I like them. And sometimes, it's like, I've had people I've met that after I met them, it's like, oh man, I don't even know if I can listen to their music anymore.
Oh yeah,
You know?
that's worse than just meeting someone you don't want to meet
Yeah.
because then that takes something away from you.
Yeah, and particularly when it was something that you really enjoyed, and then when you start to listen to it again, it's like, man, this is hard, But then I come to the conclusion that music ability and people as a person, they don't have to be you can be a wonderful player and be a jerk, and I can't do anything about it. I can like you for your music, and it's like expecting anyone to be. Well, I'm terrible. I have this thing that it's a horrible thing, but I expect nothing out of anyone. That way, I won't ever be disappointed. So it makes my life easier to accept just about any circumstances.
Yeah.
There's another way of saying that, but I can't say it on air. So
I understand that.
So it does make it easier, and I've decided that you can meet people, and they might really be an okay person, but they might not be having the best day.
That is true, and one bad day can,
and it can ruin it for you. Now when you do it like 3 times and it's bad days, and I'm thinking, well, really, it's probably they're not that great a person. But then again, do I care as long as they make do I care? Well, I like for people to be good people.
Yeah. For that reason, as mean as Buddy Rich has been said to have been, as a drummer, you can't not. I just can't not listen to him because he was mean.
Sure.
He was Buddy Rich.
Kind of the same way with, James Brown was not the nicest person to his musicians, his
Good
band.
point.
You can probably find everyone that played with him to tell you bad things about him, So, does that, and I've seen documentaries, I'll probably go home over the next few days and it'll pop up on a playlist, and I'm not going to shuffle past it, So, and there's a lot of musicians like that.
Yeah. But I'm glad in Cleveland County, you can meet musicians and people are just generally nice.
They generally are.
It is really nice to live in this county, in this town, and
it is a music community.
It is, and people welcome it, which is really nice.
It is. It is.
I've been to places where they don't.
Yeah, I have too. And actually, in the last few years, I think Shelby has really worked hard to become a music community, a music town. I think they're proud of the music heritage from here, and I think they're proud of the artists they have here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that when somebody does well here, they're really tickled that they do it, and they don't have to do it necessarily on a national basis.
Yeah.
I think they're appreciated. Musicians are pretty appreciated here.
Yeah. I feel appreciated here. And what's, you know, I guess it's one of the things that you don't really think about as being crucial to like how you play, but knowing that, you know, when I play with guys here in town, Breeze Rhino, they appreciate me. My quartet, they appreciate me. And, you know, I've been in bands where you're just there to play, and it's like, all right, well, cool. See you next time. You know, kind of thing.
I mean, and it can become a job, a not fun job too. You know, and there's nothing like playing for one or two people either. You know, I mean, it's funny. You can play for a small crowd if it's in a small place and feel like it's a million people there, or you can play in a large place with not very, you know, half full, but there again would be 3 times as many people as you would have at your regular job, and it feel like that was just terrible.
One of the first, I say, large gigs that the trio did, and we were still very young. I'm still learning. I mean, I don't even have a full drum set. I have a cajon as a kick, and I picked that up from Phil Brunson, who plays out of Asheville, played with Jonathan Scales Orchestra. It was a fantastic group if you hadn't heard them. But I saw him play and use a cajon as a kick, and I was like, I'm totally going to do that because it's so much easier. So I was using that, and we played in Forest City, but, you know, it's for their big car show.
So,
car show. You know, it was on the stage and the large sound system. It was like our first big gig. And I remember playing there, and there were essentially a lot of people.
Right.
First large gig, but it was just so vast that it didn't feel like anyone was there. You're exactly right about that.
I mean, that is. It's funny that I think it's all the room and the way the room works, or the place you play works. And also it's another thing too. I don't know how many times you've played for a pretty big crowd, but everybody's talking, and you just know you've slayed this song. You just killed it, and you get through, and there's nothing. You know, no applause, nothing. Everybody's talking. It's like, daggone people, man, I just killed this thing. And you know, and everybody in the band's going, man, we just killed this. What? You know, or you get the,
oh, yeah.
You know, one person over there. But then I think, well, at least that one person did appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then I think, oh, he's being sarcastic, you know. So I don't know. You know.
Last night I kind of felt that way. And I know I'm there, and the people are there to see me. They're having conversations. People hadn't seen each other in a while. They're having a good time. And again, I'm being as self-conscious as I could be about doing something. Of
course, yeah.
I get done with a song that I felt good about.
Right.
And had that very thing happen, I get done, and I look up, I'm like, yeah, they're going to keep talking.
Yeah.
All right. Just going to move on to the next song. And, you know, of course, I was like, oh, man, you did a great job and all that stuff. But you're right. I mean, it's just like.
And you know, every musician that I've ever known has had that. I mean, the famous people, they had that in their life too. You know, it's just strange, the things that musicians that go along with being a musician that people never realize. If you're playing somewhere big and they think everything's good, then they didn't see the day when you played for the bartender. You know, I mean, you know, I mean, it's the band and the bartender.
So my favorite band is the Dave Matthews Band, and people are going to be like, "Oh, Cornelius, you were so cool until you said that." And you know, there's a stigma about fans of that band, but I got turned on to it when I was in high school. A buddy of mine said, "Hey, man, have you heard this band? Check this out." And the first song was it's the first song off of Crash. I'm drawing a blank because I'm nervous.
I can't think.
Sorry. Oh, the power of.
I know people do give the, you know, Dave Matthews is one of those deals where it's a love-hate relationship. Mm-hmm. Mine's Tom Waits.
Oh.
People love Tom or hate Tom, and I just happen to love him.
Oh, I'm so sorry. This is bad radio.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I could cut this out, but it makes you appear human.
So much to say. And that's the first song. I'm gonna be upset with myself that I didn't know that off my head. So he starts this song, and the groove, starts off with a good little guitar groove. I was like, oh, I've not heard acoustic guitar do that.
Yeah.
So it gets to the whole song, and I was like, oh, it's got a saxophone and violin and all this other stuff. And the drummer's playing some, rock beat, but it's a little different. And, get doing that, and all of a sudden I'm hooked. And, 20 plus years later, I've probably seen Dave 10, 11 times, probably way more than I ever should. But every time I go, I'm excited. It's, I don't show excitement about a lot of things. I show excitement for this. But this is one of those things where I've grown up with it. And what I like to say about it is that, speaking of musicians in their worst times, I've heard him when he's got a label and, putting out albums. But, I'm trying to think of the shows where he started, and he plays a song that would then going to be one of his more famous songs. Sure. And people don't even care.
Yeah, don't even care. Yeah, I mean, I think that's another thing too. You have a string of hits, but then you got newer material, but nobody wants to hear it.
Oh yeah, and especially if you change a little bit of your genre stuff. Gosh, people are. Oh, it didn't sound like it. I'm like, it is them, so it does sound like them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and artists grow and change too, and that's something that people don't really want you to do. I mean, they want you to stay the one that they love and know. So I've all of a sudden decided that, I no longer like a pedal steel in my band. So I want my next record not, oh man, he's lost it, man, or I'm no longer using I got tired of a clarinet after a while. I don't want this sound anymore. Oh no, man, you fouled it. You messed everything up. It's not the same. People don't like change, really.
No, and it's really funny because you want music. People want to find the one band that they fall in love with, and they want to have that one thing which requires like something new, something changed.
Right.
And once they get that part, they want more songs.
Right.
But like you have such a limited. I mean, you're limited to how many songs you can make in a certain style.
Yeah, you are.
So you got to do more. And of course, if you're a fan of that band, you want them to put out new stuff, but you don't want to put out new stuff. You want to put out like rehashes of. I'm like,
I mean, basically the same song just done again.
Yeah.
And people like that. It's like cover. Yeah, I spent a lot of my life playing original music, and then I just did a kind of Christmas party where I did all covers, and I was thinking, dadgum, people really like this stuff, and it's like, I hate that they like it, but it's like,
yeah, I mean, there's a reason why those things have stuck around.
It is, and it's but it's what it is. It's part of the business, What else we need to know?
Well, I was going to play a little bit just because I did last night. And so the song that I'm picking up to play, the song I'm going to sing is from the band Lawrence. Lawrence is like this soul groove outfit, and horns included. So
sure.
And it kind of got a little bit more famous this year because of like a TikTok video.
Oh yeah, that helps.
Yeah, that's how,
yeah.
But so I went to a show actually last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I went to a show, and it was at the Gray Eagle in Nashville, and it was hot in there, but it was a good show. But so this song is actually a little bit poppy. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it a little bit slow.
All right. Yeah.
All right, so another thing I'm going to do is it's actually a Frank Zappa tune, the quartet, Black Coffee Quartet. We do it a lot, but Chris Murphy, bass player, lead singer, and I did a little funkier version of it way back when, and I happened to find like the old recording, and but it's My Guitar Wants to Kill Your Mama.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's a little bit different, but I hope not to mess it up too much. Let's see what happens. You know your mama and your daddy said I'm no good for you. They call me dirty from the alley. I don't know what to do. I get so tired of sneaking around just to get to your back door. I walk past the garbage and your mama jumped down screaming, don't come back no more. I can't take it, my guitar wants to kill you, mama. Guitar wants to kill you, mama. My guitar wants to burn you, dad. It get real mean cause it makes me mad. Later, I tried to call you, but your mama said you weren't there. You just weren't there. She told me not to bother to call again unless I cut off all my hair. I get so tired of sneaking around just to get to your back door. I walk past the garbage and your mama jumped down screaming, don't come back no more, can't take it. Guitar wants to kill you, mama. Guitar wants to kill you, mama. My guitar wants to burn you, dad. Get real mean cause it makes me mad.